Biblical Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Mean of Revolution. Prophecy is here right before our face. But before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Let's get right into the content. Very interesting information we're going to get into. Salute, family.
I told you before, if you're on the West Coast, move immediately. It's not if she's going to move. She's going to move. And I promise you, when she do, from Galveston, Texas, all the way up to Alaska, it's gone. All right? Wherever she finally decides to go, it's gone. And the only thing stopping her from moving right now is Alaska. Alaska is still frozen. These are reptiles, huge reptiles. She is 9,000 miles long. Okay, and the width of California to Colorado, Yellowstone. Her body lines up right beside Yellowstone. Come from Galveston, Texas, and work your way up through Yellowstone. All right, all the way up through Washington State, Canada, and Alaska. All right, Canada and Alaska is the only thing keeping her still right now. Once Alaska thaws.
The truth about the Leviathan, and I'm talking beyond the Leviathan truth. I'm talking all the truth, but this has got to be shared. Oh, but first things first, Takey Talk, you know me. This is purely for entertainment purposes only. All things stated here are just speculation. We're just having a little bit of fun. New book goof and let's go. The whole world is buzzing. Is the Leviathan loose? Yes, my friends. In fact, I do believe it is. Who cares who unleashed the Kraken? Because the Kraken, compared to the Leviathan, child's play. But while everybody is talking about the Leviathan possibly being loose down by Antarctica in the oceans, the blob, along with the seas, mysteriously heating up like never before, causing sharks to attack people left and right on the shores down in Florida and I guess probably various places. All marine creatures to become very aggressive and act out of their character, and even many beach themselves and unalive themselves, as if to be running from something massive that they are afraid of. Trust and believe they are, and yes, trust and believe it is huge. No, there is no measure to the size of the Leviathan that would even make sense to you or I. It's big. And it's loose. The Kraken next to the Leviathan looks like a soft shell crab. What? Soft shell crab. Truth. Here we go. While everybody is talking about the Leviathan, yes, in fact, it is a biblical creature. But yes, in fact, just like we are finding out about everything in that Bible, my friends, is true. And yes, in fact, it does live here amongst us in this world today. But nobody's talking about its cousin, the equally horrifying, large, massive creature. But unlike the Leviathan that is a sea creature, a dragon of the sea of sorts, a multi-headed dragon of the sea, to be exact, its illegitimate cousin is landlocked. The behemoth. God made the Leviathan and the behemoth, two of each, on the fifth day. A male and a female, and God looked at it and thought, that's not good. That's probably not great at all. Because it explains in Job 40, read the whole thing, guys. You have homework. No man, no group of man, no nothing, no army could ever kill the Leviathan. And another thing that it explains about the Leviathan, it lives in the deep abyss. And it, hang on to your britches, makes the waters of the oceans boil. That might explain why the oceans are remarkably getting hotter suddenly, because perhaps the Leviathan has come up from the abyss, the deeps, where it has lived, and is now roaming about the ocean, preparing for exactly this time. And what is about to happen between it and the behemoth? Chosen ones, elect ones, righteous ones? This should make you excited. But I digress. We will get to that at the end. The Leviathan is like a dragon, a serpent of the sea. It's got multi-heads. It breathes fire and smoke, and it is massive. And the behemoth, its land cousin, it's equally as massive. It dwells in the rivers and the greenlands, and it seems to be described as a herbivore. All right, that's not bone-chilling, but it's huge. Its tail swings like a cedar, and its power is in its belly. Now, one might think to yourself, okay, I could see how they could hide a Leviathan in the sea, because that sea is big. I mean, we're talking big. But how? How could man ever hide a behemoth? A massive land creature like that? Come on, how could you hide that whole thing from the world? I know what you're thinking. Both could easily hide where, well, it seems most obvious. Oh, I don't know, somewhere that is, off limits, unavailable to the public for exploration. I don't know, someplace like Antarctica. But Auntie, it's a herbivore. Antarctica is a big land of continent ice continent. I'm not laughing at the fact it's not. Actually, I am, but I'm laughing at the fact I said it like that. What if I were to tell you, it is my hunch And the fact that the blob first appeared in Antarctic waters and went along up the coast of South America in April, right around the same time the sea started to get a lot hotter, that does tend to make me think, oh, now we can understand why they don't want us down in Antarctica at all of the countries. But how could the behemoth hide in Antarctica if it's all snow covered and there's no trees or rivers for it to dwell in? Well, my friends, that's easy. Because not only is Antarctica not a continent just full of ice, Antarctica, my friends, is an ice wall. And I do truly believe
global warming reaches new heights. We are cooked, literally. Have you heard what happened in Europe today? Temperatures, these are all 40 Celsius that you see right there. 106 in Paris. In Paris, France, 112 in Bordeaux. By United States standards, southern U.S., that may not sound all that impressive. By France standards, that's off the freaking charts. Now, look, it is an anomalous weather situation. An amazing Omega block is taking place over Spain and France and pushing into the east towards northern Italy through Germany. Now, this is really, really a heat bubble. That high pressure center aloft that's right there over France, that just is, this time of year, especially with the sun angle so high, it's going to heat up like an oven. But one of the signals, the biggest signal of global warming is when you test the highs. When it gets higher and higher, each record is one step beyond until finally we're literally cooking ourselves down the road. That's what's going on. 106 in Paris. We've got to do something, and I don't know exactly what. Seriously, if you have friends or family over in Europe, check in on them. I heard that 40 people died today. This is the 23rd of June, 2026. Check in, make sure they're comfortable. AC is not very big over there.
All right, guys, we got some major news coming in tonight. It's June 24th, 2026, and we have back-to-back powerful earthquakes that hit Venezuela, collapsing buildings in the capital of Caracas. This is, again, the U.S. Pacific Tsunami Warning Center issued tsunami alerts for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. It is June 24th, 2026. It's about 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time as I'm reporting this. And if you're familiar with my buddy Detta on here, we've talked about the theory of a Leviathan beast in the Venezuela region, a sleeping giant, if you will. And that maybe with this awakening we're going through, one of the things that we're going to encounter is the Leviathan or the Kraken or the beast from, down under. And there's a lot of great Google images and stuff like that, and you can have a lot of fun with this. But this is right here pretty fitting because Detta just started talking about the Leviathan again. Detta just started bringing us back towards Venezuela and keeping our attention on possible events happening there. And now you got boom 111 on the clock when I say there you go, boom. Interesting. This is very interesting, the timing right now. 2 back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela as Detta brings up the Leviathan dragon. And as we start talking about the solar flares again and Air Force One and all the stuff that we were talking about last year at this time, now we've got it all coming back around with the World Cup, the solar flares, the storms happening all over the Midwest right now, and now the earthquakes down there. Dragon Riders, get ready. See you on the other side. Detta?
Stop scrolling. Something prophetic has happened today. Many earthquakes of higher magnitude have struck. Take a listen to this.
Breaking news, an earthquake slams Northern California. ABC 7 Eyewitness News is live in Mendocino County, where thousands are currently without power, some without water, and there's widespread damage, but it all seems to be minor. And we have new video just into the newsroom showing you the moment that 5.6 quake hit.
7.1 magnitude earthquake rocking Venezuela, and separate quakes reported in California and Japan. I want to show you some of the video. We are just now getting into it. These chaotic moments on the streets of Caracas, dust filling the air. After the capital there in Venezuela felt that intense shaking. You see people walking around, some of them looking confused. A baseball game coming to a halt. People running for safety. You see the light fixture up there swaying. People running for safety to the center of the field. Just hours before that, we saw a 5.6 quake hitting Northern California, knocking shelves of food to the ground, We're also following a 6.9 quake in Japan with tsunami advisories in effect there. There's a lot going on, lots of.
I want you to go back and consider what Yeshua, Jesus, said in Matthew chapter 24, when he was noting the birth pains.
Now, before we continue, I want to make something very clear, very simple and clear. This video is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. The idea we're discussing are theories, speculation, and the internet discussions that have been spreading across our social media. So whether you believe this or not, guys, the conversation itself has become impossible to ignore. This is why I've brought this up to you guys, okay? Yeah, so over the last a few weeks, months, people around the world have watched an unusual series of events unfold. Massive earthquakes have shaken regions of North and South America. Volcanoes remain active. Extreme weather patterns continue to break records, and ocean temperature have risen to levels that scientists are still trying to, fully understand. At the same time, a growing number of people online have begun connecting these events to an ancient biblical creature known as Leviathan. And according to scripture, Leviathan is described as a powerful sea serpent, a creature so enormous and terrifying that no human could hope to control. While most view the story as symbolic, others believe the Leviathan could represent a real entity hidden somewhere within Earth's ocean. Yeah, so what makes the theory so intriguing is the location. Some internet researchers claim Leviathan is bound beneath the waters surrounding Antarctica and the Americas. They point to unusual seismic activity, strange ocean temperature spikes, and increasing reports of marine animals behaving erratically as evidence that something extraordinary may be happening beneath the surface. Of course, there's no scientific proof that a giant biblical creature is responsible for earthquakes, storms, or natural disasters. However, that hasn't stopped the internet from buzzing, talking about this, the speculations. Like I said, allegedly this thing is, beneath, somewhere in Venezuela, okay? As powerful earthquakes strike places like Venezuela, California, and other regions along major fault lines, some theories asking whether these events are connected to something much larger than we realize. Is it simply nature doing what nature has always done, or could there be a force at work that humanity still doesn't fully understand? Yeah, whatever the truth may be on this, one thing is certain, okay? The world is experiencing a period of extremely extraordinary change, okay? And people everywhere are searching for answers. Yeah, so we're going to continue with the video that I interrupted. Sorry about that. This has to be done, YouTube policies and all that. I'll come back at the end of this video to give my own final 2 cents. If it's your first time to be on this channel, guys, go ahead, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, comment, share this video. I'll see you at the end of the video. Let's continue watching.
He said, for nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. And sometimes people will say, oh, this stuff has always happened, because they don't read verse 8. Verse 8 says, all these are the beginning of the sorrows. In the Greek, that means birth pain. In essence, Jesus isn't saying when you see a one earthquake here, when you see that happen, that no, he's saying when you see everything happen at once at such level of intensity that hasn't happened before. We're seeing rare tornado outbreaks, which many meteorologists are saying is rare in the way that it's happening. Go look up the news article. The Earth's in its final trimester.
I don't know if y'all sleep or y'all woke, but do y'all see what I see? All within an hour and 30 minutes, Japan and Venezuela gets hit with 7.5, 7.2, and a 6.9 magnitude earthquake. It is being said that the possibility of this occurring is 1 in every 1,096 years. Now, the fact that there were 2 earthquakes in Venezuela, one 7.5, one 7.2 magnitude, there is definitely a tsunami advisory going on in the Caribbean right now. But when have y'all heard of stuff like this happening? I don't know how strange this is to y'all, but it's got my spidey senses tingling, because what is going on? Extreme solar flares, major earthquakes, historical flooding, tornadoes in the winter. Some people will say this is just the natural order of things, and maybe it is, or maybe the poles is shifting. I don't know what's happening, but for me, the earth mumbling and grumbling all on the same day, like Godzilla trying to wake up, baby, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, friends. I can't call it. I really hope I ain't got y'all up in too much of a tears. I'm gonna call y'all back later on. Pray for our friends in the Caribbean and in Japan.
Europe is getting absolutely cooked right now. Hundreds of heat records are being broken daily. Thousands of schools are being closed. Public events are being cancelled. Alcohol consumption restrictions are being put in place. And even drowning deaths are soaring as people are trying to cool down in rivers. You see, Europe is officially the fastest warming continent on Earth. But it's also a continent that isn't built for heat, with over 80% not even having AC. So when summer hits, each seemingly becoming hotter than the last, it is brutal. Take France, for example. They have just had their hottest day on record on a national scale, along with over half of the country being placed on red alert and 135 absolute records being broken in a single day. Drowning deaths in the country have also soared to 40 in just 5 days. Over in the UK, temperatures hit 34.6 Celsius, ushering in a number of coping measures like reduced rail speeds, hospital patient appointments cancelled, school closures, and even hosepipe bans. A red health alert was even issued, indicating a risk to life even for the healthy population. Several people have also drowned in Germany over the weekend. Spain's National Weather Agency warned of serious, even extraordinary danger. And Italy's health ministry declared a red heat wave in at least 15 cities. The heat wave is expected to continue for many of these countries over the week.
I think the fact that Europe hit 104 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday will be the determining factor for the last of the Trumpies. I think the last of MAGA is going to crumble very quickly, coming around, I don't know, maybe September, August, if we're lucky, right before November. I know what you're thinking. What does Europe hitting 104 degrees have to do with MAGA? It has everything to do with MAGA, since they preach global warming isn't real, and we're in the middle of our super El Nino, and Europe hit 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and I don't think they realize how hot that is. And the reason that I say it's going to crumble, possibly coming up around August, September, is because that's the start of hurricane season. Know anything about hurricane season and warm water? And last year, how we saw rapid intensification, these storms go from little tiny nothings to damn near killing everybody in sight. I want you to know that Florida, hey, the fact that y'all voted because global warming doesn't exist, and we're seeing how literally a super El Nino will make our days even longer from shifting the poles. It's a lot, but I think when y'all see how that man handles FEMA, because it really no longer exists, disaster relief, and the oceans get so hot that during hurricane season, y'all see categories never ever imagined over there in Florida. I think that's when MAGA's gonna jump off. I think that's where they're going to be like, oh, you're just going to let us get demolished and treat us like New Orleans in 2005? Because of the fact of the reality is, he doesn't give a fuck about you. I mean, I don't think he ever provided disaster relief. The last time he was in office, he actually cut FEMA. Actually, the head of FEMA now didn't even know there was a hurricane season. So the fact that Europe is 104 degrees, y'all don't believe in global warming, and your president doesn't believe in FEMA disaster relief, and there's about to be a super El Nino hurricane season, I think that might do it.
Yup, this is it for us. As scientists have found this angry biblical creature that is larger than a continent coming out of the water. And we have been warned about this for centuries. People were terrified after a biblical end of the world creature was seemingly spotted on Earth, as the Bible warns us in Isaiah 27:1 that a huge Leviathan creature will roam around until Judgment Day. And when it rises, it will be the end for us all. And many are horrified, saying it's rising up now. Experts had taken this aerial view of a huge Leviathan-like head underneath the ocean, with many saying it cannot be landmass, as what appears to be its head is moving. Many people were terrified, with even sonar equipment back in May showing something dark and hundreds of feet in the water starting to move to the surface, and it's already bigger than the size of Texas. It's believed to be coming to the US, as Wyoming recently just had a huge crack the size of 6 football fields open up almost immediately, with scientists still not knowing fully how or why. Even just the frequency of earthquakes recently, to even several whales and animals just ending up on the shore not alive anymore, have all been eerie signs. Several articles and studies have not been able to fully clarify where all these things are coming from, and they could be completely unrelated to each other.
So as we bring this discussion to a close, it is worth stepping back and looking at the bigger picture here, okay? Yeah, so across the globe, headlines seem increasingly dominated by disasters, extreme weathers, earthquakes, floods, droughts, heat waves and storms. unlike anything many people can remember experiencing in their lifetimes. Europe has been battling record-breaking temperatures. Parts of North and South America have been struck by powerful earthquakes. Hurricanes continue to grow stronger, and scientists are monitoring ocean temperature that remain unusually warm. Naturally, when events like these happen one after another, people begin searching for explanations. For some, the answer is climate change. For others, it is geological cycles that have been occurring for millions of years. And for those who look at the world through a biblical lens, these events are often viewed as signs that humanity is approaching a significant turning point. This is where the Leviathan theory enters this conversation. So according to ancient texts, Leviathan is not merely a sea creature. It is described as a force of immense power, something beyond human understanding. Okay, yeah, so throughout history, cultures around the world have told stories of giants, serpents, dragons, and sea monsters lurking beneath the waters. Some believe these stories were symbolic. Others believe they were based on encounters with something so real. Yeah, so recently, internet discussions have exploded with claims that Leviathan may somehow be connected to the strange events occurring around the world. Supporters of this theory points to increasing seismic activity, unusual ocean behavior, mysterious sounds reported from the deep sea, and the growing number of environmental anomalies appearing in the news. Yeah, again, there is absolutely no evidence proving that a biblical sea monster is causing earthquakes or natural disasters. Yeah, but that has not stopped millions of people from exploring the possibility. Yeah, one reason these theories continue to spread is because many people feel that something about the world has changed. Okay, time seems to move faster. Seasons feel like less predictable. Weather patterns appear more extreme. Whether those feelings are supported by science or not, they are experiences shared by countless individuals across different countries and cultures. Okay, yeah. Then there's Antarctica. For decades, Antarctica has remained one of those most mysterious places on Earth. Okay, its vast ice sheets conceal landscapes that few humans have ever seen, because so much of that continent remains unexplored. It has become a focal point for countries. I mean, countless theories involving hidden civilizations, ancient creatures, and secrets buried beneath the ice. Allegedly, okay? Yeah, some theorists believe that if a creature like Leviathan existed, Antarctica would be one of the few places large and remote enough to conceal it. Others suggest that the warming of polar regions could somehow be revealing things that have remained hidden for thousands of years. Yeah, others are saying the extreme heat waves are caused by the Leviathan's breath, hitting the ocean and all that. The earthquakes, they are connecting dots to say that it could be moving, it's on the loose and all that. And so whether those ideas are true or not, it is a matter of, it's another matter, like entirely. Yeah, because what makes these conversations fascinating is not necessarily the theories themselves, but what they reveal about humanity. I mean, throughout history, whenever people faced uncertainty, they looked for meaning, okay? They searched for patterns, they connected events and attempted to understand forces larger than themselves. Today is not any different, okay? The earthquakes are occurring around the Pacific Ring of Fire, the extreme weather events affecting multiple continents, and increasing concerns about climate instability have created the perfect environment for theories to thrive. In times of uncertainty, mystery often fills the gaps where answers have yet to be found. Perhaps the earthquakes, are simply the result of tectonic plates shifting beneath the Earth's crust. Perhaps rising global temperature are influencing weather systems in ways scientists are still working to understand. Or perhaps there are such aspects of our world that remain beyond current human knowledge. No one can say with certainty, okay? Yeah, but we do know that the coming years will likely bring even more questions. Scientists will continue their research, governments will continue monitoring environmental changes, and the internet will undoubtedly continue producing new theories, new debates, and new mysteries for people to explore. Yeah, so as always, it's important to approach such topics with curiosity while remaining grounded in facts, okay? Healthy skepticism and an open mind can exist together. Yeah, so I think that's all. I've spoken too much here. What do you think about this, guys? The earthquakes we are hearing about, the heat waves and extreme weather events simply natural
So I know y'all heard about the Ring of Fire, right? How the Ring of Fire lit up, okay? 6 earthquakes in about 24 hours or less. Now, all I could think about is birth pains, right? How the Bible speaks about birth pains. And when you think about the Ring of Fire, when having a baby, you experience what they call the Ring of Fire when the head is crowning. Y'all better get right because we here. We are here.
It is June 24th, and I am back with your new Leviathan update. Now, let's talk about it. If you follow me, you know what's in Venezuela, the Eye of Levi. And today, Venezuela had 2 major earthquakes, a 7.1 and a 7.5. Remember, I told you exactly where they were going to attack and what was going to move. Where do you think those earthquakes were? First, let me start by saying none of what I'm saying is true. It's a movie. It's a script. I'm just speaking out loud the script that I have written for my new movie called Levi, The Awakening. Here we are on the USGS, and you can see that it was a 7.2 and a 7.5 that happened in Venezuela. Now let's get to it. What is that, you guys? What is that? I told you all. I had already told you and showed you. Most of you know what this is. This is the eye area. This is one of her eyes, okay? Right there. And that's around the eye. It's trying to move. I showed you all of the other earthquakes on the tail. All right. You can see the tail there. And the earthquakes on the tail, where that tail ends. And Japan. Told you all. Japan. There is another one. Remember, Naga. The Naga, Nagasaki. All right. This is the mouth here. Coming around into the cheek area. And this one runs on back there. All right. World War II. Nagasaki is right there. There's the eye. Right there. Do you know what is right there? Here, let me show you. Hiroshima. Right? And there's Nagasaki. There's the eye of this one. All right? Remember what they dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? And for those of you that follow me, you know what the Nagas are. And for those of you that don't, keep up. In various Asian religion traditions, the Nagas are a divine or semi-divine race of half human, half serpent beings that reside in the netherworld. And here is a picture of your Nagas. All right? You guys got to keep up. Don't forget who was tempted by a serpent in the garden. So today we've had Levi in the Caribbean and also the Levi in Tokyo. What's always coming out of Tokyo, you guys? Godzilla. Can somebody tell me what the name of this super El Nino is? Y'all even believe this shit. The Guardian. El Nino is back with the vengeance, and fears of Godzilla's strength may be the least of our worries. Scientists say there's a 90% chance of a Godzilla El Nino. Historic Godzilla El Nino forms. Southern California warned a volatile winter ahead. I've told you all about the Bering Sea. What does bearing mean? To bear a child. Everyone's waiting for the coming of the El Nino. What's a Nino? Right. The baby boy is going to be born again. And whenever a woman or a female is going into labor, her body temperature rises. Hence, the rise in temperature of the water in the Pacific, where the body of Levi sits. Okay? This is why all of the glaciers are melting. All of it. Her body temperature is rising. And do you all remember the movie Godzilla? I got some work to do. We'll pick up with part 2 of this tomorrow. Remember, Godzilla.
From June 24th to June 26th, these are the earthquakes that happened in this region. And most people are not taking this as a biblical sign. But it says in scripture, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So also the coming of the Son of Adam shall be. If this is supposed to be the days of Noah, we should know and learn what the day of Noah consisted of. And on that day, Yahuwah caused the whole earth to shake, and the sun darkened, and the foundations of the world raged, and the whole earth was moved violently, and the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and all the fountains in the earth were broken up. Such it was not known to the inhabitants before. And the Most High did this mighty act in order to terrify the sons of men, that there might be no more evil upon the earth. And still, the sons of men did not turn from their evil ways. Even as those signs were then, so shall be the signs of the people and their mentality today. This therefore shall be the sign, when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth, and they shall fall into many tribulations, and again, when they shall fall into great torments, it will come to pass when they say in their hearts, by reason of their much tribulation, that the Most High no longer remembers the earth. It will come to pass, they will abandon hope, that then that time will then awake. To be a stupor, which means to be unconscious, not knowing what's going on. Again, one of those signs of foresaid perils were earthquakes and terrors. He told Ezra, then shall you understand that it is the very same time wherein the Most High will begin to visit the world, which he made, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Then shall you well understand that the Most High spoke of these things from the days that were before, even from the beginning. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, because faith without works is dead. And they that loathed my Torah, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet a place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. And therefore be not curious how the wicked shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, for whom the world is and for whom the world was created. And you're not learning any of this in your 501c3 Christian churches. Y'all are getting prepared to be pre-raptured ready, which is an impossible doctrine if you learned and read all of the scriptures and not only the 66 book canon that the Roman Catholic Church told you to only read.
Y'all were piecing together more puzzles in this sci-fi episode. So stay with me with this ring of fire because it gets more mystical. Because once again, the effects of this is going worldwide. Yeah. Let's not forget the toxins that are being emitted from all of these volcano eruptions. Okay. Because once again, the volcano that hasn't erupted in over 12,000 years, the one that helped cause the Ice Age. Yeah, that one in Ethiopia. Big Mama done woke that one up, and then you have Indonesia and Japan, and then you got Hawaii and Ethiopian volcano sending out resonance, shooting out frequencies to where they erupt even more at the same time, coincidentally. And we cannot forget that it's happening underwater as well. You have the underwater volcano in Chile that has erupted as well, shaking the ocean floor. And we cannot forget that's what gave birth to Zealandia and why that mysterious eighth continent is now appeared. And we cannot forget the reason that all of these waves that are coming in.
Okay, so before we get into this video, disclaimer, please. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get into it. Yeah, so many people have been watching the recent earthquakes, volcanic activities, extreme heat waves, and unusual weather patterns, and asking the same question. Are we simply witnessing natural events, or are these signs connected to something much bigger? Yeah, so one theory has gained attention online, involves the Pacific Ring of Fire, the massive zone surrounding much of the Pacific Ocean where many of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. Some commentators have pointed out that during a childbirth, there is a stage known as the Ring of Fire, when the baby's head begins to crown. Because of these comparisons, people people believe the increasing seismic activity could symbolically resemble birth pains mentioned in the Bible. Yeah, so in Matthew 24, Jesus spoke of a time when there would be wars, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places, describing them as the beginning of sorrows. Many prophecy watchers believe these events could be connected to those warnings. Others argue that humanity has always experienced disasters that modern technology simply allows us to hear about them instantly. Then there's another theory that has spread rapidly across the social media. The idea that Leviathan, the mysterious sea creature mentioned in scripture, is somehow awakening or moving beneath the oceans. Supporters of this theory point to earthquakes occurring near coastlines, unusual ocean activity, and the ancient biblical descriptions of a powerful creature associated with the deep. Yeah, of course, there's no scientific evidence proving that a biblical Leviathan is responsible for earthquakes. However, the theory continues to fuel debate among those who view current events through a prophetic lens. So whether these events are natural cycles, biblical signs, or something humanity has yet to understand, one thing is for sure, one thing is for certain: people around the world are paying closer attention than ever before. Yeah, so we're gonna continue the rest of the clip that I cut, which I need to do. I'm sorry about that, YouTube policies and all that. Yeah, I'll come back at the end of this video to give my own final 2 cents, and I'm asking you guys to continue sharing my videos. I see what you guys are doing. It's great. I appreciate that. Yeah, so if it's your first time to be on this channel, go ahead, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that every time I upload such videos, you guys will be notified. Let's continue watching.
The reason why everything is going so crazy is because we have the Leviathan that came out of the Arctic Sea that is heating up the ocean floor as we speak, that is sending out waves and tsunamis that are like no other. And they're alleging that there's supposed to be a tsunami that's going to hit here coming soon. So stay with me. Here we go to the green screen.
The ring of fire just woke up and everything around it is cracking open. In the last 2 days, volcanoes have started erupting again from Indonesia to Japan, and the seafloor near Chile has begun to shake like a heartbeat. Off Japan's Iwate coast, a 6.9 earthquake hit this week, the strongest in the region since summer, and smaller tremors keep following along the same trench that triggered the 2011 disaster. People think these are separate events, but they are not. Scientists say it's just another cycle, but cycles don't glow red on every edge of the Pacific at the same time.
Do y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what stage is being set for us right now? We have way bigger fish to fry than politicians and bills and laws. You know what I'm saying? I hope you follow.
There have been multiple earthquakes over the past few days along the Ring of Fire, and I wanted to give you all a summary of what's been going on. The strongest earthquakes over the past few days happened in Venezuela on Wednesday, June 24th. 2 twin earthquakes devastated the area, with the main shock categorized as a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, followed by a 7.2 magnitude foreshock earthquake. For context, these earthquakes are measured on the Richter scale, between a 1 and 10 as the strongest. As of this recording, at least 1,430 people have died because of these earthquakes in Venezuela, according to CNN. Other earthquakes have occurred along the Ring of Fire over the past few days. Here's a list. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake happened in California. A 6.9 magnitude earthquake happened in Japan. A 6.7 magnitude earthquake happened in the Philippines, and a 5.5 magnitude earthquake happened in Papua New Guinea. And earthquake safety tips are always helpful to know, even if you are not along the Ring of Fire. So here's what you need to do. Stay indoors if possible, away from objects that can break or fall, like windows or shelves, even stuff in the kitchen. Get under a desk or table and hold on to it. If you're outside, get into the open, away from buildings, and slow down to a stop carefully if you're driving. If you are interested and able to donate to those in Venezuela, CNN has a page titled How to Help Those Affected by Venezuela Earthquakes. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys, we got some more news on earthquakes coming in. It is June 26, 2026. This article is from today, right there at the top, Fox Weather. And this one's talking about the Pacific Ring of Fire rattled as strong earthquake strike Japan, the Philippines, and Nicaragua. This right here, guys, is just the beginning. And the Pacific Ring of Fire, that's something that we've been talking about. People in the circle, people that have been talking about these pole shifts and these solar flares and the geomagnetic storms and the great shift, the great solar flash event. Guys, this is just the beginning. This is literally the tip of the iceberg. And the question is are you waiting on the Superman to come save you? Are you waiting on the alien or the Messiah? Or are you preparing to become your own Superman or Superwoman? That's the two timelines that I see. People that are waiting on somebody to come fix themselves and people that are fixing themselves right now, preparing to become one of the heroes. That's all I got. Superheroes and supervillains. It's what the world has always been made of. Now we see it. Do you remember the Epstein file list? You ready to go get some justice? You ready for some superpowers? Prepare your temples. Believe in something. And get ready. Because evil, we're coming for you.
I find it interesting that all these earthquakes are happening and it's in the Ring of Fire, right? And if you don't know anything about the Ring of Fire, you should look it up. This is the Ring of Fire, okay? And the earthquakes that have happened recently have been within the Ring of Fire. But I don't find it coincidental that the Ring of Fire is also referred to a burning sensation a laboring person feels during the final moments of labor. You can read that up at the top, okay? And in Matthew 24, the Lord warns us about earthquakes in various places, in diverse places. And the earth is going through birthing pains. And the Bible describes and speaks of this. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Jesus uses this phrase after describing wars, famines, and earthquakes. The metaphor implies that these global trials are not just random destruction, but the necessary, increasingly intense pains that precede a glorious new birth, the kingdom of God. So we know that we're seeing a lot of people that you would never perceive come to the Lord. So that just tells me that Jesus is coming back soon and people need to get ready. God bless.
So in the last 24 hours, several earthquakes have hit the Ring of Fire. And while this is devastating, I want to take a moment to talk about some of the connections that I've noticed this year. Now, if y'all recall, Lent, Ramadan, and the Chinese New Year, as well as the Ring of Fire eclipse, started on February 17th. The Ring of Fire eclipse was supposed to represent purification by fire, getting rid of the old and making way for the new. Now, this Chinese New Year is the year of the fire horse. It's supposed to represent energy, movement, and transformation. Lastly, talking about horses, in the Bible, they talk about the red horseman. And it's supposed to represent war, the removal of peace, and it's supposed to have a global impact. Now, while none of these may have any connection to each other, I do think it's worth noticing the coincidence. Lastly, whether connected or not, my hearts and prayers go out to all humanity and those affected by the earth.
So as we bring this discussion to a close, it is important to remember that throughout our history, every generation has looked at major world events and wondered why they were witnessing the fulfillment of ancient prophecies. Today is no different. So over the past few years, the world has experienced devastating earthquakes, record-breaking heat waves, volcanic eruptions, floods, droughts, and other natural disasters that have left millions asking difficult questions. For some people, these events are simply part of Earth's natural cycles. For others, they represent warning signs that humanity is entering a significant period described long ago in biblical texts. So one of the most talked about passages comes from Matthew 24, where Jesus described a future period marked by wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. He referred to these events as the beginning of sorrows, a phrase that many biblical scholars interpret as birth pains that increase in frequency and intensity before a major event. This interpretation has led many online commentators to draw comparisons between the recent activity along the Ring of Fire and the birth process itself. They argue that just as labor contractions become stronger and closer together before a child's born, the increasing number of global disasters may be, signaling that humanity is approaching a prophetic turning point. Adding even more mystery to the conversation is the growing fascination with the Leviathan. Yeah, in the Bible, the Leviathan is described as a mighty creature of the sea appearing in books such as Job, Psalms, and Isaiah. Some view Leviathan as a literal creature, while others believe it symbolizes chaos, evil, or powerful kingdoms that oppose God. Over time, internet theories have transformed these ancient descriptions into modern conspiracies. Yeah, so according to some online claims, the recent earthquakes, unusual ocean disturbances, and volcanic activity are allegedly connected to Leviathan stirring beneath the seas. Videos across social media speculate that movements deep beneath the ocean floor are evidence that this ancient creature is awakening. Some even suggest that governments know more than they are revealing. However, it is important to emphasize that there is currently no verified scientific evidence supporting these claims. Okay, seismologists explain earthquakes through tectonic plate movements, pressure buildup, and geological process that have been studied for decades. Yeah, so from a scientific perspective, earthquakes are not linked to mythical sea creatures, yet the persistence of the theory reveals something interesting about human nature. I mean, when people witness events that seem overwhelming or difficult to explain, they often search for deeper meaning, whether through religion, mythology, prophecy, or conspiracy theories. Humanity has always tried to understand its place in a rapidly changing world. Yeah, so some prophecy researchers point to descriptions found in ancient writings that speak of the earth shaking violently, thunder rolling, lightning flashing, and the foundation of the world being disturbed. They believe these passages resemble some of the dramatic events we see making headlines today. Others caution against assuming every disaster is a prophetic fulfillment. Nothing but similar operations have been made for centuries. Another fascinating aspect of this discussion is the warning found throughout scripture regarding spiritual awareness. Several biblical passages describe a future generation becoming distracted, comfortable, and unaware of the significance of the times they are living in. The comparison is often made to the days of Noah, when people continued their daily routines, eating, drinking, marrying, and carrying on with life until sudden judgment arrived. Those who believe we are approaching prophetic times argue that one of the greatest dangers is not the disasters themselves, but the possibility that people become desensitized to them. After years of constant news alerts and viral headlines, many individuals may stop paying attention altogether. On the other hand, skeptics argue that fear-based interpretations can lead people to see patterns where none exist. They encourage viewers to examine evidence carefully, think critically, and avoid jumping to conclusions based solely on speculations circulating online. So where does this leave us? The truth is that nobody can say with certainty whether recent earthquakes and extreme weather are connected to biblical prophecy, natural geological cycles, or something else entirely. What we do know is that the world continues to experience powerful and sometimes frightening events that capture humanity's attention. Yeah, so whether you believe the Ring of Fire represents symbolic birth pains, whether you think Leviathan is merely a biblical metaphor, or whether you view everything through a scientific lens, these conversations reveal a common desire to understand what is happening around us. Perhaps the most important takeaway is not fear, but awareness. Awareness is awareness of the world, awareness of history, awareness of faith, and awareness of how quickly events can change. Yeah, so as well as this video is intended for discussion and entertainment.
Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio Cigars. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar. Cigar. Radio Cigar. Radio Cigar.
What's going on, family? Let me know if I'm coming through the mic, Rich. What's going on with you, King?
Had it on mute. Thanks for letting me know. Had it on mute. You can hear me now, right?
Absolutely, loud and clear.
And shout out to the family out there. I was saying, we're on an early show today. Very important show. Very important topic. We just, I want to welcome G-Host Ghost Jehuti back to the platform. My brother, welcome back. I was telling the brother on the phone, not many people could describe what's going on from the perspective he's able to describe it from. A very, indigenous way of explaining things. It's not to say that it's not academic, but it's not mechanical. The brother has a very heart, spiritual, felt way of explaining what's going on, and he's a very important asset to us at this time to understand who we are and our connection with nature. Speaking of nature, a level 5 geomagnetic storm hit Earth the same day these earthquakes started hitting. I think 4 earthquakes hit. The footage looks unbelievable. It looks like the end of the world. They say it's the strongest solar storm in 23 years. And it's weird, Ghost, I had a dream that I seen the Northern Lights. I just had a dream about the Northern Lights. It was none fantastic, none spectacular. It was none dramatic in the dream. I just had a dream that I was observing the Northern Lights. Let's talk about this. What is going on with Earth? I keep hearing over there in Venezuela, Ghost, about this dragon, Leviathan, and these things that are happening, whether it's the U.S. going over there in Venezuela, whether it's the earthquakes, whether it's the water, they're saying this dragon is waking up over there. And I don't know whether to believe it or not, but every time something happens over there, people keep bringing it up. So I'm like, I really, is there really some type of dragon in the water? But everything I just said, Ghost, man, a lot going on in this realm at this time, my brother. Could you kind of break it down for us about what exactly is going on from your knowledge, my brother?
Brother Rich, thank you for having me on your platform.
Indeed.
I also want to say thank you for having that magnetic mind to pick up things in the ether and guide yourself on that node, intrinsically. I want to appreciate that. And also on last conversation and this conversation in the now, I just want to give ourselves a recorrecting and Dinkra code to I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. So I can make mistakes, or also we can learn how to channel this frequency. So I just want to let the viewers and let the people know that I'm not perfect. I'm recorrecting myself with all of this intrinsic information that's unfolding to us right now, because to jump right into topic,
is I want you to give this book out, Rich. I got an extra book. I ordered one. So for the viewers, for the people, I'm gonna leave this to Rich, how he wants to give this book out, how he would like to get this to the people. I want to give this book to you guys because I bought 2 of them, and I feel like we're living in a day of Malachi Z. York, and a lot of intrinsic things that's been missing in our conscious community, I would say would be a lot of the plant medicine. So there's a lot of great leaders, there's a lot of great guiders that have left us information, and these books cost $200. Some of these books cost $100. Some of these books cost $1,000, and some of our community is not able to purchase some of these books. So I would like for you to give this book out to the viewers, whoever that you think, to your family, to anybody that you think is deserving of this book. It's a gift of information that breaks down what the Leviathan, what the dragon really is, what the Dogon really is, how one time in life we all knew that things would be revealed to us. Bruce Lee, the dragon, the Draco, Dracula. I want to really intrinsically put this in the now, right? Like we look at the Bible, we look at the Quran, we look at the Torah, we look at the Mahabharata, we look at the Book of Life, of the Book of Death, the Metuneta, we have the Sumerian texts, we have so much great information, Gilgamesh, you know, and a lot of people just think they're in like a book. People think that they're only happening at a time in a linear time. The stuff that is happening right this moment, right this second, is a non-linear time being revealed at a time that people have got stuck in time under the draconian, under that Dracula, that drinking blood. So what I really want to do is that when we're speaking in the now, the past, and the present, because the stuff that has happened in the past is coming up now in the present, to also be in the future, but also to be the now. So if people like, I would say Oprah Winfrey, right? And to bring her up in respect is that some of these people do really drink blood so they can actually have different communications from the fear adrenochrome, and then also to stay in the 3rd density, coming in from the 4th density, where if we look at back in these Bibles, in these biblical terms, is that when we hear about the dragon, or we hear about the Draco, or we hear about the devil, or we take away the D and put the E over there, is that we were trained in our mechanism to have fear since day one, especially within like biblical terms. And I'm not saying that the Bible is bad or good. I'm saying that it's all going on right now. So anything from the Torah, Genesis, anything from the Mahabharata, ancient aliens or having sex with aliens, the Anunnakis, is not something that we're reading and it happened in the past. And not only is it happening already in the future, it's actually right now happening right now from times archaeological or ancient history that has been changed, and our blood has been changed. The way that we eat, the way that we consume, the way that the whole system, which within the symmetry, like speaking from the Grand Canyons, how we think Africa is over there, but now correlating this information, if we look at the Grand Canyons, right, Brother Rich, we're like, what happened? What type of entity or what type of water, what type of disaster went through that field, that massive landmass that changed the trajectory of where our mental state is in a now, from a past and a present, to a linear time that is based off of history and then not his story, as I believe now is that we are being intertwined into a time that was unseen before in a different realm. And now we're getting ready to see a realm that has been unseen, that has been hidden from us, like Naga, like dragons, like mermaids, like aliens, like extra ultra terrestrial celestial intelligence. So here on this platform, on Brother Rich's platform, you know, Black Magic 363, we want to give respect and reparation that you allow this information to be known. So let me know where you would like to go, because I want to follow the guidelines and I also want to stay on topic within this dragon. But I would love to bring up not only the bloody oath sacrifice from the EP Epstein files, but also what this Naga or this disagreeable dragon-like entity is revealing within our realms of the underworld, like Kamui caves and these underground pyramids that have 6,000 meters. There are other creatures, is basically what I'm saying, that is amongst us. And I don't think that our mind is ready to perceive that because of the fear adrenochromes. Imagine we would see a big dragon and we only heard in Disney World that these creatures are alive, like in the video game. And now you're in this video game, The Matrix, and now you're seeing these creatures actually come out, or they're trying to expose themselves. And I think that's the time we're in, is that we have to calm down our fear adrenochrome so we can process this intelligence that we're receiving, not to think of these things in a scarcity way. We can go back to the Sumerian text where, you know, us as samurais, we had the sword to pull out on these entities like Blue Star Kachina, where you would hear that and you wouldn't know where that force would really come from. And that's where I would really like to pivot, but go in your direction of where you would like to go.
Indeed. Let's get
Venezuela as well.
Yeah, let's get into this. You said this spirit, this nega, I guess disagreeable spirit, this dragon, and what is it doing over there in Venezuela, and what does that mean for everybody right now? Is it even real? Are people on TikTok making this up? You know, let's talk about that.
Okay, so let's go right into the Matrix realm, right? And let's go into the Ma'atrix. You know, welcome to Ma'at. Kinetic Hermetics is that we are taking from the quantum field, which we love, and then we're taking from the etheric field, which we are from, and we're putting them together where we're understanding the disagreeables and the agreeables, right? So if we look at the land of Mu, when we were all one land mass, right? We understand that there was different entities, different energies that were here. As we could see the pyramids, we could see a lot of ceremonial places where you see clay pots and people operating on a different frequency, right? We look at all the places around the universe and we're like, okay, what are these pyramids here for? Why are they leaving serpentine, or why are they leaving dragon-like hieroglyphics? Why are they leaving scales and all these metunetas? And not just them. Let's go to Venezuela. Let's go to other pyramids in Cuba right now, that there's earthquakes right now happening. There's major tsunamis happening. Even I think in Hawaii, there was a major tsunami. Is that the underground or the inner earth, what we say Shambhala or Goethe, or where a lot of the people hide. If we look at the military, right? Even if thinking Marines, and even when you look at the hospital, you see those two snakes going by. So really, like, where I want to bring the topic is right to Set, is right to Satan, but then right to Heru, and then right to Osiris, because not only before those times is that if we go into Gilgamesh, or we go into Anunnaki, we go into the Tiamat. I don't know if you guys know about Tiamat. Is supposedly when they destroyed Tiamat, she was almost like what they say a dragon, or she was an entity that was of the soil, of the tierra. And when they hit her with a certain plutonium or nuclear technology, not did she only break and went into the ocean, she was on fire, and she went into the ocean with the fire to guide the fire. Is that we don't have to get scared of Set. We don't have to get scared of Osiris, or we don't have to get scared of God and the devil anymore, because as we can see, there was a major cataclysmic and a war from the energy, from the frequency, from the etheric and the quantum field, where people wanted to put people in a slave trade, make humans artificially. Genesis is hybridization, is put people in an ulterior state of mode like mortgages, BlackRock, and control their etheric, their usurpantine, their kundalini frequency, the dragon or the reptilian particle of the brain. We could break down things now on alchemical 7 hermetic principles by keeping the laws of Mother Nature and then inscribing, like, what are these creatures fighting against? What are these dragons fighting against? In Venezuela, or when we look at Venezuela, it wasn't called Venezuela before. Africa wasn't called Africa before. Puerto Rico wasn't called Puerto Rico. America wasn't called America before. We was all one continent, one land of Mu before they separated and started to put us in, not would say just this, I would say hexahedron instead of saying quantum field, because quantum field is very great, but you can get locked in a hexahedron and not be able to see the dodecahedron because of the artificial entities that have built the way that we symbolically communicate with Mother Nature. So you have people that built the pyramids. When you go outside, your feet touch the ground, you're electromagnetically revitalizing the central nervous system. Then we have these beds, these couches artificially with like different types of plastics, and then they hold us away from the ground. So even when we're laying on it, the energy is being usurped by the dark web, by DARPA, by the Akhenaten, by the Draconian, by the dragon entity that is there, with also perversion and manipulation and inversion. So that's where I would like to really go with it, is like Venezuela has an underground chamber. If you look at Mesoamerica coming down, there are worlds that are just on the surface level and people are occupying either on a grid-like system, and some that are not. And then there are humans or there's humanoids, and then you have humans or ultra-celestial beings that have contact with what we would say as Arawak or Puerto Rican or Taino is the semi, the people that are in the inner earth, the creatures that people don't learn about in school. So 32 years of school is an Epstein file, and you could see, I think it's Mendeley or Mendeley, you spell it out, and this is the curriculum for 32 years of public schools for them to be in the dragon or the draconian law of physics, where they're not learning the real metaphysics. And this is proven by the Epstein files that the same Israeli or the militia or certain types of Mossad agents as dragon-like entities that are operating in a humanoid body are able to slow the consciousness of our younger generation and keep them in a linear time. Now we're unveiling a time mentally and psychologically where I don't know if Billy Carlson realizes, I don't know if you, Black Magic 363, realize that every time that you send out this information to the web, to the people that are listening, you're changing the mitochondria in the DNA for the people's synapses to kinetically get the information. Once you change the mind frame of those people that are watching psychologically, it builds a psychological literacy, and now it changes the meridian points of the world. So if the world was running off of that Epstein file or that dragon or that draconian music, that death culture, they're going to be thinking it into existence, keeping the light lock in the linear time, and they're not going to understand what the etheric or understand what the etheric is, because now if we're online, we're communicating, we're able to now look at the Grand Canyon, the Cheops Temple, the Isis Temple. You know, the Thoth Temple is now, we can realize, like, yes, there are other creatures out there. It's not just the devil that is installing you in fear within the biblical terms. When we get into the Metunetas, and we start to learn these creatures that are actually out there, not just from Disney Channel, and thinking like, hold on, do dragons really exist? Do mermaids really exist? We could go right back into the intelligence of all information and start to unlock, especially with our pyramids that were left as ley lines, is that there was a different frequency that we would run on, have teleportation, we would have telekinesis, we would have telepathy. We were able to bring things that would die back to life in the etheric realm. When we got to the hexahedron, or we got to that, what we would say in Venezuela, is there's a lot of oil there, right? So why would an earthquake happen if you were distributing information about medicine, about archaeological information that we're not tying together, and then you have ancient aliens, people going missing because now the UFOs, the USOs, now everything is being revealed to the people because it's always been revealed, but we're in a new solar transmission, like you said. There's something going around in the ethers that people are wanting to know. Not everybody right now is watching the old paradigm shift on television. Now people are tuning into the YouTube right now to get more informational database that can download them right away into the cerebral cortex. Now their finite frequency sends out a beam, a Cristo. The Cristo is lit inside and it changes the trajectory. So that's how I really want to land here, is that the mind of the people, because of people like you, people like Billy Carlson, people that are exposing the other realm that is unseen, and I'm going to leave it there and let you continue, is that the unseen realm is now being able to be seen, not just with eyesight, but with a etheric feeling where you're picking up omnipresence, where your biofield is able to pick up binaural beats. Is it coming through 44.4 megahertz or is it coming through 432? So I would like to send all of y'all love and send love 360, because those are part of the magnetic beams that change your ultra reality. Ashe.
You know, my as you say that, it's quite interesting. My peripheral vision is picking up, I noticed. And I'm starting to be like, did I just see something? That probably happened to me 6-7 times within the last month. And I'm like, there's something about my peripheral vision that's different this month than what it was last month. So I definitely get with what you're saying with our vision and all that, my brother. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Venezuela, or these underground caverns, if we look at Puerto Rico, or we look at Mammoth Cave, like Brother B-Del would speak about, we would talk about, like, why are these caves there? Why do people not want us to go inside? Russia, all over the world, they're like, yo, stay out of these caves. Stay out of, stay on the surface level. We'll give you the surface level. But once you enter these caves, your lucidity, right? So we have lucidity right now. Some of the hexahedron, when we want to go to sleep, would turn off our lucidity, and then we would have different spider webs and cobwebs around that we don't realize that are extraterrestrials, that if you do go to sleep and you're going to pass through the next life, or you're going back to your teleportation, if there's spider webs and cobwebs in your hexahedron and you're not your neocortex is not enough alkaline to crystalline the pituitary pineal and then that cave of Brahma, your body would leave, go back to the celestial realm. You would be able to rejuvenate. But being that these entities, these draconians, these dragon-like species, and let me not say that dragons are all bad, because I don't believe in bad or good. I do inherit, or I do see some of our dragons being there to assist us against the other dragons. So I don't want to just throw in the dragon world that they're all bad. I want to say in Bruce Lee is like, you have to fight the dragon that is within you. And when you're not trying to fight the dragon within you, you actually understand that we all have this type of beast-like energy, and that can either come into us, turn us into like some draconian energy. And then you also have the Naga that will take the Kundalini, serpentine, dragon-like frequency, turn on your hawk energy when you're able to guide the draconian race, when you're able to keep the crocodiles or the dragons at your foot, and you're able to have your hawk and your Osirian particle in your brain that keeps them at bay, where they cannot enter the soul at night when you're sleeping from things that you have watched. And also, if we can take it here, if you may, is about molestation and rape and pillaging. Because when we look at that, if we look at all the militaries, all the jails, they want to put you with a lot of male enforcers, even what do you call that, where the Boy Scout is now, there's another entity that we're starting to realize, like, are children wanting to be that way, or they're being consumed, food and school, to change the way that they're psychologically manipulated or perverted and inverted by certain foods that they eat, like hot dogs and certain Twinkies. Is we don't realize that a lot of the raping and molestation from our children and our women are something that we hold dearly inside of us, that control that certain etheric energy that keeps you in like that physical altered reality. And we understand there's people now awakening and coming out with things that have happened, them being raped, them being draconianized, I would say, into being suppressed and having that fear adrenochrome that controls not the etheric realm, but I would say the hexahedron realm, where they install this fear through that type of passivity. So that's where I would just land, is saying, when we were in the Bible having altercations with the devil or that serpentine frequency, we would listen to a frequency that was not in the physical. People would go to cuckoo houses, or what they would call concentration camps. They would have to be fed medication if they would hear something. So if you were speaking to something, they would pervert you, put this medication in you to close off your 4 major organs, because you have a connection with an unseen realm. And that's what I feel like a lot of this suppression and this draconian plutonium, and then also fuel, like I would say gasoline. Gasoline is a major conductor to the 4th realm, or also the 3rd realm, where these Nagas or these dragon-like entities could usurp into your mitochondria from the etheric realm. Like you said, your foresight is being lifted. The solar, the carbon sun, people are able to now understand the things that we're talking about, because now they're tapping into an unseen realm that is highlighted. 6,000 years ago, it wasn't out there in the ethers. Every single day, if you watch Disney right now, you, since you're unlocked in your brain right now, whether you're acidic or not, we're in a new time capsule now, is that you watch a movie you watched 10 years ago, you're not going to watch it the same way you watched it, because there's Epstein files that have been leaked. There's UFOs that have been leaked. So now your change of command in your mind, I would think, is just an artificial entity that's messing with you. Now we're able to see the unseen realm at its fingertips, or at its orchestra. And that's where I am now, is where I would like to bring this to the conversation, is the petroleum, the oil from Venezuela, from the Arawaks, the conquistadors, the British colonialists, the dollar bill saying the all-seeing eye, the pyramid on the bottom. That right now is happening in real time. People are rising up psychologically, and that is shifting the earth plane. That's causing volcanoes. That's causing a lot of eruptions and discernment within our superior or our authority that we used to listen to, as far as now listening to an unseen force. Ashe.
Let me show you something on the screen real quick. So this was how the Schumann Resonance Look family on June 25th. You know, and I actually, family, I remember if y'all was watching my show about a week ago, I reminded the family that on Father's Day a couple of years ago, there was a huge spike in the Schumann resonance. So it's just interesting that this year, a week after Father's Day, we see another huge spike. But these spikes be spiking in June, the month of June. These the Schumann resonance be popping. So that's how it looks. So if you felt, and if you felt something lately, whether it was before June 25th or whatever, you're not going crazy, you're not bugging out. We have to become more aware of these small sensations we get within our body or in our mind or something like that. I want to ask you real quick, Ghost, you come from a culture where you know a lot about the indigenous history and way of doing things. You brought up the plants and everything like that, tobacco and other plants that you bring up. We hear about the parasitic elite doing rituals with blood a lot. Like we talk about them, they cause whole wars to do rituals with blood. Does anybody in the indigenous community talk about doing rituals with oil, since they say oil is the blood of the earth? I never hear anybody talk about using oil, the blood of the earth, to do rituals. Have you ever heard of that, or does that make any sense to you, my brother?
That makes complete sense, because I try to tell people, when you put gasoline in your car, it's like putting cocaine in your nose. When you go to your refrigerator and it's on and there's Freon pumping from your refrigerator, you are addicted to plutonium. So not only are they serving fentanyl, and not only are they serving different types of drugs over the counter and under the counter to change the mind, certain things that we do physically are some type of usurp of an etherical realm. Like, I'll bring it straight to the Knicks game. We'll go to the Knicks game. New York is winning, right? But you know how much gas, fossil fuel is being usurped for every single one of those people, not only kinetically to buy the ticket, to get to the seating, to do everything. All of that same charge is being usurped by those people that you're saying right now, is that every time that you get an emotion, he gets the free throw, or you get the emotion like, yo, we winning. The same thing in the schools. If you in a competitive state of mind, your adrenal chrome now is being able to get hijacked. So when you see people that are into this petroleum realm, as far as keeping the fluorescent lights on, certain types of frequencies that we're scared to get away from, is sort of like right now is that we have a conscious community rising up the conscious community. So now they won't stimulate your check no more. They won't give you all the money that you was getting before, because now they want to tighten your noose. And they want you to stay on that drug. They want you to stay on that feeling like, I got to go work 9 to 5. All the 5 P's. I got to go to church. I got to go to the hospital. I need life insurance. But those are all lies that usurp you and keep you connected only to the hexahedron. It doesn't give you a force and a chance to now build your own broadcasting channel. It doesn't give you a chance to build your own hemp field, or it doesn't give you a chance now where there's sheetrock, and then you have different types of piping, wooden and artificial stuff within your wall that capture a lot of different bugs and entities like cockroaches and rats, that you would think that they're just rats and cockroaches. You'd be like, yo, they're regular creatures. But you wouldn't understand the dynamic that this whole entire usurp is being done on a level from a micro aspect of life, of technology, of like different birds that are not really birds, they come from doves, is now when we start to really understand medicine, or we start to understand neurotropics. Our transmitters now from when we're not in the hexahedron and we have hemp around, or we have copper or gold or certain things that are made up in our field, is that we emanate that elusive eternal realm where we're still in eternity in the physical. And then if we're operating within the hexahedron, a lot of gases, a lot of fossil fuel, that's exactly why they want to hit Venezuela, is keep certain gases that are in the ground, so now they can keep this whole entire circuitry running off an electric database, instead of having it on that Nikola Tesla theta base where we're having crude oil being fed into the car. And now your whole car is not an EMF center, where now if you're running on crude oil, things that you're connecting to could actually not implicate and charge and let that other force or draconian enter your body to usurp you in your whole life existence. You start to, learn natural ways and energies where we can teleport again. I could have a conversation with you, or I can meet you. What some of my boys now do is like, yo, I'll meet you in the etherical realm, because we talk here on these realms, and sometimes a lot of people are listening. But once you learn how to leave the body, do enough qigong, it's like what you said today, is like now already your world peripheral starts to come in magnetically all at once. And then you could meet other people where you don't want to have conversations where bugs that you don't realize, cockroaches or spiders you may think are real, but they're listening to your analytical database every single day, the same way the new China flies are coming in. This entity has been around for a long time, and we are exposing it now to shine light. And then just like Luciferian light, and respect to our forefathers and our ancestors known and unknown, is now we are elusively illuminating particles of us that we have been encapsulated by this dark force or this dark energy, and that is being revealed to us homeostasis, epigenetically.
So you're saying the bugs, like the roaches, they're spies, you're saying?
Spiders have a web. What I learned in the medicine, like dimethyltryptamine or yahe, chacruna, is that when I would leave my body in chacruna, especially the yopo, they say don't move your body, because now when your soul comes back into your body, if I move my body, my spirit is coming to get right there. But let's say I move my body and I'm not there, it's the same way as that a spider. What I've learned when I went on the medicine, I had to get through this force. So there was like this spider or this what you would say web they use for bulletproof vests. It's like unburnable. Is that some of these spiders are not real spiders. They have a web of nanotechnology that builds a cobweb in your house. And when your body starts to want to leave the physical hexahedron, those webs will keep you down here on the surface level. So I learned with dimethyltryptamine is that when you have chacruna inside of you, or you're operating from a neocortex, is that you can get past that draconian web that's there in the ethers that you don't see, and now you can have full communication with that unseen realm or your true ancestors, your ancestral kinetic connection. You won't feel like I went to sleep and I came back into the same realm. You'll actually feel like, yes, I ported back to my realm and I came back here. So that's where I would like to understand bugs and creatures on that level, is that sometimes we don't want to squash certain bugs, but certain bugs and certain creatures, certain humanoids, they're just not from our species.
Wow, that's heavy. That is heavy. Wow. I want to show you something, since we're talking about peripheral vision and the sun and geomagnetic storms and solar flares. I had a conversation. I forget who it was with. Let me show you something real quick. Where's this at? All right. So I had a conversation. I forgot who I was talking to. It might have been, no, it wasn't Yaya. It was, I forget who it was. It was one of the queens on the channel. I forget who it was. But we was talking about eye floaters. And I was telling how I originally heard from like the health community, like that's a sign that you have parasites. Then I heard from the spiritual community that those are light codes that you are seeing or instructions that you are seeing. My question would be is a lot of the eye floaters that I have seen when I'm out in the sun, the shape looks very familiar to solar flares. Like when you see these solar flares coming off the sun, even this one right here, this is like an exact shape of a eye floater that I may see. So is there any connection that you know of between eye floaters and solar flares, my brother?
Okay. So can you break down what you mean by eye floaters?
There's like how would y'all describe it? When Flebron, yeah, thank you. I was talking to Flebron. That's who I was talking to. When you're out in the sun, sometimes you see like these tiny, like little strings in the air. It's like translucent. Is that the word y'all would use? Like a translucent little string in the air, and each one of them are different shapes. They're like little stringy shapes. It's like strings, but they're like in different, like S's or T. They're never like straight. There's always like they're always curvy. They always curve or whatever. But yeah, you see them. I only see them when I'm in the sun. So yeah, that's what I would describe it as. Anybody in the chat want to add on? Let me know.
So first, I want to start with young Pharaoh.
Yeah.
There are brothers out there that they had their YouTube shut off, Instagram. They had women that were, even I'm going through some of the same exact situations young Pharaoh is going through right now, where even my woman is being possessed by a draconian race. But how can I express that to her? My mother, how can I say, I love you, Mom, but the food and the things that you've been consuming in that paradox, that has got a mutation on you. I can't. Now I have to speak with Brother Rich, where instead of wasting my time with my family trying to hit them with the jargon, it's like, all right, let me not waste my time with my family. And this is all respect to my tribe, is that for the people that's ready to receive, they will receive. But guess what? Just like young Pharaoh, you have these entities trying to block great information that is coming out. So I want to not only say to young Pharaoh or say to the conscious community is that the Ma'at Kinetic Hermetics is there to work with people like that just went through what they call the cuckoo house, and now they've been installed a whole bunch of, and we could look at young Pharaoh, we say, yo, what happened to him? Think about the medication and the stuff that they put through him. They're trying to psychologically sabotage him through nanotechnology. So back to the solar flares, is you brung up something the last one in one of your last transmissions, or one of your last, how I could say, your etherical pinpoint, is you said, yo, people say they look in their eyes and they see this squiggly worm and it's moving around. Is that parasites? Yes, that is a nano particle that they've been making for a long time. They have a squared particle that is a micro, why they call it nano, is it's so tiny that it's a square. It looks like dust, and they're spraying it, and it's coming through your water. It's coming from everywhere. Even the bugs that are coming to fly on you, they're inserting the shit in you. So you have two of them. You have one of them that is coming from the draconian, reptilian, or I would say Bill Gates foundation, is where they're in a laboratory and they're making these little small microscopic hairs that they fall from the sky while the sun is out there sending you neutrinos. So they're trying to stop the inhibitors that are coming from the neutrinos from the sun, the natural ones that are lighting us up and turning us on, just like Wakanda. But then we also have the nano silver with our little brother we call as Big Brother. I don't even give him that power no more. Is that they're trying to spray so much of this toxic plastic or these nano silvers that look like hairs, and they're able to get into your receptor. So if you look at young Pharaoh, I'm not saying to look at him in these ways that you may look at me in the same way, is that you're seeing that you're speaking and certain things are maybe possessing that person. If you see him, he's like, his tongue and his arm is like kind of twitching. And if you look when he's talking, he's like paused. And you see this string in his tongue. If you look closely in the video, you're going to see this thing, and his tongue keeps moving because his brain is Osirian particle. But then if he went to, what you call the cuckoo house, or not the cuckoo house, that they put you in, they say you crazy and stuff like that. The psych ward, right? They'll put you in the psych ward, hit you with all of the nano silver, put it in through you, the stuff that they can't get from the outside. Is now they'll have you fight with your family, is they'll send those neurotransmitters to your wife, to your mother, turn them on in her if she's been eating acidic or what she's been computing. They can transmission energy to make her mad at you or to get you into the 5 Ps. Either you're going to be in jail or you're going to be into the psych ward. Is they have these nanotechnologies that compute the other person to try to get to you neurologically. And what I'm pointing out is that you could see this little string in his mouth that he's fighting with. And I'm saying why I brought this medicine, and I'm not going to bring it up too much, is that it cleans out. So tracruna, dimethyltryptamine, yahe, is why instead of going out to the land, and I used to pay $5,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars to travel to a place where we used to have the tracruna here, is now I've saved my time from going out there, is bringing it here, because now like people like young Pharaoh, people that's been through the jail, that's been through the psych ward, is that we have certain types of neurotropic plants that clean that up. So if you have any nano silver, something that's controlling you that you may not even realize, some of these dimethyltryptamine, some of these yahe, some of the mamacoca, some of the tobacco cigars that you have, they dispute that. Tobacco is a parasitical cleanser. Yahe, where we found the children in the Amazon, they crashed, the mother crashed, she was gone. We found the children by, when you blow smoke into the unseen realm, that's like you seeing the unseen realm. We would blow the neurotropics to make a ritual, and instead of thinking of the devil, we would say duende. I should look up this word duende, because then instead of thinking that the devil has that much power, you understand that there's duendes, there's other creatures out there that try to hypnotically hypnose the cerebral cortex to keep you in that hexahedron, and then you're out there, you're moving, you're yelling, and now you're able to get caught in the vices instead of you being virtuous. And this is why we utilize some of these plants, because we blow the duendes out the water, because we've been doing this for ancient times. If you look at the shamans, or you look at people that's been working with neurotropics, we've understand we had invaders. We understand that we've been invaded, not only physically, not only psychologically, but also etherically. So this is what I'm just bringing up in a point is, yes, you have your natural neutrinos, just like Bedell said, it's coming down, it's hitting the receptors. But then, yes, you have those little particles, those little hairs that are coming down that are not of us, and they are trying to program and keep us into this light lock. Ashe.
I wanted to ask you, since you brought up the plant, real quick, Mama Kali, I don't know if you ever seen her. She's been on my show, an elder sister who deals a lot with the cosmos. She asked me, because I think Trump mentioned something about Ibogaine. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And she wanted me to ask. Ibogaine. You ever heard of or Iboga? Iboga, Iboga?
Go ahead, continue.
No, she says that is let me see. That's a plant that heals the spirit. And she wanted me to ask Red and Blue or some of the guests on my channel if they knew about it. She said she was researching it in 1988, and Stanford University flooded her offices, San Francisco, trying to get her to go get the plant for them. I'm gonna talk. She's gonna come on and talk about it. But what can you tell me about this plant? Iboga, Iboga. Iboga. Oh yeah, Iboga. Yeah.
You sure you wanna? I could get it. I could mix up. I could mix the pot right now. I could cook.
Let just real quick. What tell us something about this, because the sister hit me up.
Let me cook this quick.
Yes.
Iboga. First and foremost, you have Iboga, the original from Gabon, and you could ask, what's his name? Chaka Bars. Is you have Iboga that is the father. So basically, Chacruna, ayahuasca, is the mother of the father, is the mother of all plants. And then you have Iboga, which is the father. And why it is the father is when you want to go talk to your ancestors. First, this is Sananga, and this has Iboga properties in it, is why I put these 2 drops in my eyes, is because I have a first eye in my brain that once this Iboga goes into my eyes, and some people will take it, it's going to burn the ish out of your eyes, but it is not going to burn your eyes the way you think it is. It's actually killing or is neutralizing a lot of airborne bacteria and parasites within your cerebral cortex. So that's why I take this every single day. They utilize it for not only hunting, not only getting rid of glaucoma, not only getting rid of blindness, not only that, also seeing microbiotically internally in your body, picking up that 6th sense, but also seeing flies or creatures at another level. Like a chameleon has crystalline technology in his blood. He's able to change the color of his skin, and he's also able to take his eye orbital. He's able to zoom in, zoom out, 60 miles per hour. He could come, slap that tongue out. The mucus is more better than a mouse trap. He grabs the thing. Is because the crystalline technology is like he's able to see things at a different speed and a metric from the symmetry to the circuitry. So now you're turning on the circuitry within your cerebellum, and you're able to not just quantify the information that you're getting, you're etherically able to download at the G-force, the speed of life, cognitively within the functionality of that same intuition. The way that you don't only have to hunt for an animal is not about that. It's about you might be getting hunted, and now you have an extra sensory of extra kinetic telekinesis, is you could partically see other particles and photons that are traveling the light spectrum at a different light speed that others might encapsulate it, but then you can grab the light energy, and instead of encapsulating it within the biofield as one, you could like positive and negative, you can charge the ionospheres in and out. So now you can download at a different, it's almost like you having the Ethernet cable plugged into your computer and then not having it plugged in. And just to really land it is that Iboga is the father. So when the mother's with the mother, ayahuasca, we're going to see the mother, the nurturing, what creates life. The father, if you ever take Iboga, be careful because it's a heart stopper. So if the body is not alkaline and you go to take Iboga, that's why people are scared to take Iboga and go to Gabon, is because you go into that realm that I said lucidly, and you can stay there for 3 days talking to your ancestors. But what I've learned is people have done Iboga. Look up Rhythmia, my guy from Rhythmia. I think his name is George. He made this place. He had a shot of Demerol. He was on dope. He went up to the montañas in Gabon. He did the Iboga, and it changed his world from him having lust with his wife. He had multiple women, and he stopped all of that lifestyle because when he went into Iboga, he seen his grandfather raping him. So he's seen his father getting raped by his grandfather. And I know this sounds however it sounds. But yes, with the medicine, they unlock doors in you that you may have not seen in this lifetime. So in Iboga, his father, why it's the father medicine, is he went to his father, watched his father raping his grandfather, raping his father, his grandfather raping his father in another celestial time. and then watched his father rape him, and he never knew he got raped as a child and why he was on drugs and why he was going through things. And this Iboga was able to take him away from the physical reality. And this is when you want to go to Iboga, why it is not a heart stopper, but it is a heart pumper, is because you might see things that have happened to your ancestors. You're going to speak directly with the ancestors that are either in the light lock, like they got Whitney Houston in a box right now, and they're charging her frequency, her soul that hasn't left the light lock, and they're able to light lock people that listen to the box and capture their soul emotionally. It's the same thing that you might see your grandfather that has been doing nasty stuff in that draconian world, and he's light locked in there, but a particle of you in the Iboga, he went and said, I had to say, his grandfather came and apologized to him wherever he was and said, I apologize for doing this to you and doing this to your father. And when he was able to neurologically accept the apology and forgive the grandfather, he made this multi-million-dollar place called Rhythmia, and they gave him the schematics of how to set up the Rhythmia, how to do certain things. So that's what I love to say about these medicines, is that we could be traveling some traumatic experiences, but then when we go to do these medicines, just like I told my boy yesterday, I was like, I don't mean to tell people like you need a glass, but I told him, I said, once you take a shot of chacruna, you're gonna unlock those trauma bonding experiences that you have with people, and now you could focus on your business. Now you could focus where all that trauma was being usurped, Demerol, drugs, eating different ways, and you putting it into the draconian race where they're light locking you, is that now the Iboga or these types of medicines, they clean you out etherically, not just physically. And now you're able to continue your business. You're able to, instead of you making a McDonald's and Starbucks that you're killing the people, you might fuck around and make a chaga mushroom. You might be serving cacao and different things. It'll send you from a place where you were in. It'll show you things that have happened in your ancestral, your father. And that's what I would say about Iboga. It is a very father, but the original man, the man that has never touched the children. It's the man that has always been a man and been criminal because he has kept his receptors on. So that's what I would say about Iboga. It is something that is of the original forces, Ashe.
Indeed. Wow. Oh, that was something, wasn't it, family? Wow. Let me ask you this. What's next with this Leviathan dragon, these earthquakes, that area, Cuba, Venezuela, that whole area right there, even in this country, in America, North America, what do you think happens within the next 5 years, Ghost?
I would say like this, Brother Rich, is again, I appreciate, because there's things that I say, there's things that I do, and I want to appreciate you for cognitively still having me on your channel and respecting the information, because I respect the information that you keep as well, and that you consistently charge our community. I just want to give that thanks. Where we stop reading the Bible, all right, so Dr. Malachi Z. York and notable Drew Ali, right? They didn't say that we had to read the Bible every day. They say we're going to need the Bible to throw it back at them. So I read the Bible. I respect my Christians, and I'm still very Gideon Cristo. I don't want to put the whole crusades behind it, but I'm very into the information and the biblical stuff. I'm not saying to throw it out. I'm saying to you that there are other biblical information when we look at notable Drew Ali, is that we're going to have to take the Bible and put together the missing pieces, like the book of Enoch. We have to put the Riskians together, the Anunnakis. We got to put Marduk together. We got to put ISIS together. We got to put no names. Let's not go to names. Let's just go back to teleportation. We understand here in this symmetry that there also is a circuitry, right? And right now, that's happening now. There's so many things in the Bible that are being revealed right now. We are in the time of revelation where your all-seeing eye cannot run. There's no devil or no set or no evil consciousness that can go hide in the ground and run away from what they have done. It actually has to come back around, and it has to hit us here so we can actually see it, so it doesn't happen again. And that's where I really want to go with the Leviathan, is that when you learn about the Caucasoids, you learn about certain other races, Phoenicians, you're going to learn that a lot of them were inbreeding. A lot of them were doing a lot of hybridization. And that's where I would say that we are now, is when you give this book out or you give a good synopsis, you could have B-Del break it down from our brothers from like in here it breaks down like Yahweh, and then it breaks down Yahweh. So it breaks down the disagreeable families or the disagreeable bloodlines that started that hexahedron, that started that rape and that pillage, that started that metamorphic feeling of changing the human DNA from its original DNA. And that's what we're going through now, is that people don't realize that they have been mutated psychologically. And then not only has it been psychologically, it's been raped, it's been pillaged into us. That is being able to be seen now, and we're not looking at ourselves now like, hold on, we're just monkeys, or we're just people that came out the jungle, and then now white people came in and they are the superior race. We're now learning from the Leviathan. We're learning when we go back into the Leviathan that some entity came out of the wormholes. That draconian entity that's been here has not followed the particular order of Ma'at, the 42 laws. And not just to bring it up like I want people to go that route. No, this is something that I've configured in the brain, is that when I look everywhere but Ma'at, or I look everywhere but my Samarinian, my Osirian or Osiris, or coming from Star Series B, that's exactly where I come from. So when I say I'm not of this earth, I understand that there was people that came to this earth plane, or people that were here originally before we came here. So you have the Anunnaki and Zul that came here. He left the Nibiru and he went on his own recognizance. We never told him to go. He went to the earth plane. Tiamat was here. She had her own realm here. But we were able to teleport from different realms to different realms. And Zul came here and he started to alter and use a different type of symmetry, which we instructed him in the etheric realm to use the clay soil, to use the soul. Don't encapsulate all these human beings to be working and to be in the slave trade. Don't use them for human organ trafficking. Don't use them for bloody oath sacrifices. And that was happening here on the earth plains in Tiamat, is that when we went to war at a time, is that we're now finally remembering that time and the forces that we were up against. So I would love to shine light to illuminate that other entity that really don't exist in my realm, is that I understand I came in this realm and there are other entities here, but that dragon or that draconian entity, that's the problem that we're going through now, and why they're trying to keep us here on the earth plane, is that entity is not able to go past the 5th dimension. When you're able to go past the 5th dimension, that's when you could see beyond the dimension that is stuck in that hexahedron. And that's where I think that we are now, is within the solar child is waking up, and that solar flares is starting to wake up the particles inside of the human DNA that has been suppressed or also mutated and invaded is that now we're getting enough sun, we're getting enough intel that's coming through Black Magi 363, is that you're sending enough you have a black sun inside of your brain, you're sending enough information around the planet that's coming from that sun that we cannot see on the outside realm. And that's where I'm at with all the Leviathan, is that we're waking up to the beast. We're fighting the beast now. And we don't have to come out there, shoot the arrow at the beast. We could fight the beast like Bruce Lee from inside. Every time we try to go outside and be famous and be whatever, that's like Bill Cosby. Michael Jackson is like, you're like, yeah, I can infiltrate the system, and then the system infiltrates you. But then you could be like Black Magic 363, start your own channel, have your own information, and now you don't have to get skule, which is in the Latin vertebration, is take them far away from the information that they originally have. Now you can reschool the population by speaking about Leviathans, speaking about scary topics about dragons, underwater caves, cataclysmic events, because we can see that the unseen realm is assisting us as the people like Black Magic 363, or I could say Yaki, or I could say Red Pill, Blue Pill, is that information that you're magnetically charging and sending out, you're actually sending out the black sun that is more powerful than power itself. It's an ambient frequency that people only in the heart, when the heart chakras are open, now you could release that adrenochrome where your stomach brain is answering the questions that you're trying to figure out. And now when you figure it out internally, you're unlocking mechanisms inside of you now that are changing the realm. So one of your thought processes that talked about Venezuela, not only could it cause them to go maybe blow up some things underground, is really to go there too, is that I don't think all those earthquakes are just cataclysmic. I think they're trying to enter a certain area that's under the ground that's been locked for a while, that we closed them out of, and they're still trying to get into it. They're using all the forces they want to enter the fifth dimension. And just so will I mention to Willie Lynchman, it'll never happen. I should.
Damn. Wow. So they're trying to get somewhere underground. What, access a portal or something like that? Is it like a portal or a wormhole?
Think about CERN, right? So they've, since Nikola Tesla, right? The Wi-Fi you're on right now is Nikola Tesla's design. They inverted it, perverted it. They gave us Bluetooth. They gave us all the unseen realm. It's able activating, right? So why can't we charge the phone? If I can speak to you magnetically right now without me hooked up to the Wi-Fi, what makes you think I can't charge my phone without the Wi-Fi? So just think about CERN and teleportation. They want you to still be in the teleportation of the television, where you're teleporting into their psychosis. But now, since the black sun is waking us up right now, we don't have to watch direct TV no more. We are the direct TV. We are the direct kinetic connection. And as you can see in Young Pharaoh, is that they're trying to disconnect a lot of the great people, but they're also letting them disconnect themselves when they don't have their cells in alliance. So now the only way they could artificially get to you is through your receptors, your fear, to get to your family. And if they can't get to you cosmically, they'll make sure that they know you have a frequency to your mom or your dad or your brother, your sister, your friends. They'll connect to that to try to harness you from making your business or your trajectory go into the finite realm. So that's where I would really say it, is that there is no place on earth, no bunker on earth that these entities can hide, because they're really not even in the physical realm. They're only harnessing from the fourth dimension, and they're using the third density as a way to have some type of life, to feel a life. But when they pass on, like some of these Billy boys or some of these Caucasians, and no disrespect, because some of our negritos too that have been cloned will have to go through Anubis or have to go through the Tierra to either reincarnate or stay in that box. Or now if you want to get to the celestial realm, I feel like people like yourself right now are investing that new inclination where people could come together as a community and actually gather a database and know when we put our collective minds together. And if we can, is take a deep breath real quick. Right now, we're going to take like a 7 inhale, and or in heaven is think about something on that 7 second and that breath, and think about that, because when we're all together, we can change the velocity and trajectory of where we're going, or these different CERN portals are trying to take us in these different wormholes. We kinetically now take a deep breath of love and visualize yourself in a place of eternity, or visualize where you see yourself in a time that no one can touch from you. And that's where I would say, take a deep breath and then and hold that thought with you as long as you live. So if it's your family living abundant, if it's you living abundant, if you disconnecting from this energy, or you just having that conscious presence to be in the now, that sends out a force beyond the dodecahedron, in the dodecahedron, beyond the hexahedron, and that helps to change the crystalline technologies that we have in our thought that help to change our near future that we walk into in the present and the now. And when we do it all together consciously, this really helps to not go to war with them, but now you could consciously go within you, and that next realm that you just witnessed or pictured in your brain, it'll magnetically come to you faster.
Wow.
Wow,
man, you really dropped it tonight. Yo, Ghost, you dropped it tonight. Well, not tonight, this afternoon. Wow. Listen, I gotta meet Red, Blue, a couple of people at the studio. We're gonna be working on some music in a little while. That's another reason why I did an early show today, family. But I want you to tell the family how they can reach out, contact you, get in touch with you for some of your products or services.
Cool. Follow me